Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream on the channel. Let me quickly change this background. Sorry for the inconsistencies already, but I hope everyone is well. As usual, we're going to go through our Game Week 28 team. We'll have a look at how our Game Week 27 team got on. And it's finally good to be back talking FPL. I feel like it's been way too long. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to change the screen that you can see. I'm absolutely slacking this morning. Running a small bit behind, but I'll be with you in 2 seconds. That is better. Okay. So in front of you, I have got my Game Week 28 team. I suppose it's been so long. Let's get straight back into it. Let me know if you're in chat. It's good to see you. Michael Savas says fresh trim. Absolutely. We got George in chat. We got Noah Peters, Paul Morgan, Con Clasher, Ian. We got Champions Collide, Reese Clay. Everyone, good to see you back, and I'm happy to be here. And anyone that is asking, this is a fresh enough trim. I'm already good to go for the Game Week 28 deadline. We also got Derek O'Reilly. Come on, you Spurs. We'll speak about Spurs in just a second, Derek, before we go through my team. So, I suppose it's good to note first, I have 2 free transfers and 2.3, I believe it is, in the bank. I think my team is in a good place. I'm not going to say it's amazing. I think if Gakpo was fit, I'd be in such a better position, because that Southampton fixture, of course, is the banker I held on to him for. But unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be ready to play that game. And I'll be honest, as a Gakpo owner. Also, we're 167k in the world. Small green arrow. When I say small, it was literally 2,500 places last game week. But we'll take it. Deadline clock wrong. Yeah, I'll fix that. Hold on. I told you, we're absolutely slacking. You're going to have to cut me some slack real quick. 2 seconds and I'll fix that. 85. Okay, that should be better. But yeah, I think with the chips I have left, as you can see in front of you, bench boost, triple captain, wildcard, and the free hit. Current strategy, again, sorry, I know I'm delaying going through the team, but I'm currently on wildcard 31. I'm not free hitting in 29. Free hit 34. Bench boost 33. Triple captain 36/32. Again, quite generic. A lot of us will be waiting on what's going to happen with the FA Cup fixtures, which we will get information about after Game Week 29 in about 2 weeks after it, because there's a international break, I'm fairly sure. So we'll be patiently waiting again, even though we've just had another 2 weeks off with the FA Cup run, but I mean, at least we're back now, so let's enjoy it while we're here. So Pickford in goal. I don't mind Pickford. He's got a tough fixture next game week against Liverpool. I don't think he's been a bad asset. He's been decent, to be honest. But, oh no, he's got West Ham, sorry, and then Liverpool in game week 30. I think I will be holding on to him. It doesn't really make sense to use a transfer getting out of Pickford just yet. I'm more than happy just to hold on to him for the time being. He's a bit expensive now though, coming in at 5.1, which is ridiculous for Everton goalkeeper, but Everton do look a bit better in recent weeks since Moyes has come in, so definitely holding on to him. Next, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, with Southampton at home. I do expect Trent to play. I'd be quite surprised to not see him play. I think in terms of how this game is probably going to lay out, Trent is almost a must own, even if he's going to get 60 minutes, because you don't mind if a defender is going to get 60 minutes if he's going to be subbed off with a clean sheet, and you'd like to think that's likely with Southampton at home. And of course, the attacking threat is always there with Trent. Next, we got Gabriel Munoz. So we'll start with Gabriel. He actually has a 40% chance of a clean sheet this week. If we pull up the Rob T graphic in front of us right here, I believe it is around 40%. Yeah, 44% away to United, which is ridiculously high. The third highest on this list behind Chelsea and Liverpool. But yeah, very good fixture for Arsenal, even though I don't think they've been up to their standards, Kieran, as they usually are in recent weeks, but United have been very poor, so you'd expect a result here from Arsenal, especially chasing the title. Next, we've got Daniel Munoz who has a really, really nice fixture with Ipswich at home. And if we go back to the graphic, 38% chance of a clean sheet for Crystal Palace, which is really, really nice. And they're another team who've been on really good form. And Daniel Mo's picking up a goal in the FA Cup, so quite exciting to own, to be honest. I'm sure a lot of people will be looking to get to him. I'm sure most people in chat already have a Daniel Munoz and are buzzing to own him for this fixture also. Let me quickly get to chat before I carry on to the midfield. Who we got in here? We got Brat Galeche says, been a while, it's been a hot minute. Con Clash is saying, like the stream. Kieran saying, what do I have to do to convince you to join the Munoz captaincy train? Kieran, I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I'm currently on Cole Palmer. We'll get to that in just a second. Champions Collide says, Chai, I know you probably will go Salah captain. I'm not. I'm going to go Palmer. Sally Z says, morning Chai, I'm going to go with a 5-4-1 with Greaves. I have Kuna, Gakpo and Wood. Should I do Gakpo to Wissa or roll to get Haaland in game week 29? You know what? I am quite tempted to just try start Gakpo, if I'm being honest. I don't think I'm going to do it because I've got Rodgers, and you'd expect Rodgers to get a good 70 minimum against Brentford. So I think I am leaning towards starting Rodgers, but I think if I had no other replacement for Gakpo, I would be risking to play him, to be honest. I think there's a bit more in it than that he's definitely not going to play. I think there actually is a chance that he plays. Now, I'm not trying to fill anyone with some false hope, but just by the way that he's come back and then not been in training, and of course didn't feature against PSG, I think I think there is a chance he gets some minutes against Southampton. That's the best way to put it. We also got Liam in chat. Good to be back. It is great to be back, Liam. Ian says, what would you do, Chai? Start Gakpo or Ouattara? I would just start Ouattara. John Boltman says, Chai, glad to see you're alive. I am indeed alive, John. And we're back better than ever. Refical says, morning, Chai, looking sharp today, mate. Thank you for all the compliments. Anyway, let's quickly get back to the midfield. So, in front of you, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is Cole Palmer, who I have my armband on. To be honest, I'm quite confident putting the armband on Palmer. For me, that's because I have no doubt that Salah's minutes are going to be reduced. I'm not going to say he's going to be benched, but I want to say he gets 65 minutes in my mind. I think if you create your own weights, it's often something I do as a manager, is I make up my own metrics in my mind. And if I think Salah's going to get 65 minutes, well then 90-minute Cole Palmer is probably better, and has some good upside to go against the most likely captain this week, which is of course Salah. Don't get me wrong, another really disappointing week from Cole Palmer last game week, but I feel like the chances were there, and another week he does return, but also I am no stranger for going against captaincy. And again, let me quickly go back in my game weeks. So we're 167k in the world. And one thing that I've got very, very, very wrong this season is my captaincy. Along with, of course, not owning Haaland in the first 6 game weeks and bringing him in and then him blanking for consecutive weeks. But we won't get into that. But one thing I often do as a manager is go against the obvious captaincies when I think there is an opportunity to do it. And if I quickly go back to game week 13, I went Palmer captain. Okay, it worked out in my favour. This week, marginally, I gained 1 point. In game week 14, I also done it. I got stung by Salah. Salah got an 18 pointer. Palmer only got 7. And then I done it again in game week 19. Palmer 4 points. Salah 16 pointer. And then I done it again in game week 21. Worked out in my favour. 20 pointer for Palmer, 2 for Salah. And then I done it one more time in game week 27, which was last game week, and of course both of those guys blanked. Why am I showing you that? Well, Salah has outperformed Palmer in the weeks I've went against him, bar 1 or 2 weeks. But I do think Palmer in those weeks, he usually does quite well, and especially if Salah's going to have reduced minutes, I think Palmer is the type of asset that can come out with something ridiculous, especially with a fixture against Leicester, and I think he could have done it last game week. And if we just bring up his CV real quick, he hasn't been so good in recent weeks, like I said, but we know how good he can be. In my opinion, he can be the second best player in the league when Salah's not being so ridiculous. And he has a double-digit haul in his pocket for sure. We just haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, more than happy to captain Palmer against Leicester, and especially when I have my opinions on Salah. If you're going Salah and you think his minutes are better, by all means put your armband on him. But for me, I just think I would rather a player on 90 minutes with Leicester at home. Let's do a quick poll. Who's your armband on? Let me stick that in real quick. Okay, Palmer or Salah? I probably should have put an other, but I'm gonna assume no one else is going other. But yeah, next on the team sheet, we've got Kluivert with Tottenham away. Spurs have been poor, let's be real. Another poor result in Europe. Another really disappointing one for and another unfortunate injury for Dominic Solanke. But it looks like on the flip side for Spurs, good chance Mickey van de Ven and Christian Romero are involved in the team again come this Bournemouth fixture, which is a really tough fixture, but again, we are at home. I imagine there will be significant rotation though, of course, playing in Europe, but also we have that second leg for Europa League, and this is the fixture in the Europa League that we'll be waiting for more information for the FA Cup, not for the FA Cup, for the Gameweek 36 doubles, as Spurs are supposed to be playing against Villa in 37. So that second leg is really important in terms of what is going to happen in the doubles later down the line. So definitely one to keep an eye on. What are Spurs going to do in this Bournemouth fixture? To be honest, I actually haven't a clue. And the reason for that is because we don't often see rotation from Ange. From recent times, I know he's not been here so long, but from what I can remember, with games in Europe, I remember him being criticised for not rotating, and Solanke actually getting injured due to it. So I think this time around, with the pressure on his back, I would imagine he'd rotate. But with Tell coming off early last week in Europe this week, let me quickly pull up that game against AZ Tottenham. And we'll quickly look at the lineup. I'll try to tell you what my mind is thinking in terms of who's going to play against Bournemouth. Again, maybe you don't care how Tottenham are going to line up. Maybe you care more so about Kluivert or Ouattara. I would say there's a good chance that Ouattara does get some decent minutes. Again, Evan Nilsson is back, but I still think there is a good chance. So, like I said, Solanke came on and then came back off. Tell came off early enough. Son, of course, came off. But I think it could be... I mean, I don't think we can play much of a differently rotated team. We're not exactly spoiled for choice. And I think it would be good for some of the boys like Romero / Van de Ven to get some minutes, but I imagine they will be treading very, very carefully with those two in particular. By the way, I do think there is a good chance Spurs actually beat Bournemouth. I know how shit the season has been, that you think I'd be absolutely hopeless, but I don't know, always the home fixtures when we're absolutely struggling is when we seem to come up with a result when no one expects it. So let's see what happens with that. FPL NX says, well lad, how are we? I'm good, man. I'm good. Been busy, but I'm all good and happy to be back talking FPL. Is that going to play? I would actually be surprised if he does play. I just don't see why they'd risk him. Again, that's just my opinion. I don't own him, and I'm not trying to scare you and selling him. But like, if I'm Eddie Howe and Isaac has a bad track record for injuries, why would you risk him in that fixture? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I know he's a manager that loves rhythm, but you don't want your best player out before a final. Get your questions in before I carry on to the next player. What are your transfers are you planning? Is getting Wood in good at this point? You know what? I think Wood is actually an interesting one. I get it. There's not many decent strikers, I'll be honest, but maybe it's just because I've not owned them for 28 game weeks now that I'm just like, there's no need. But I wouldn't exactly be taking a hit to get Wood personally. and we'll talk about my front line in just a second. Jack Fleming says, hi mate, UK not been on for 3 weeks. Yeah, Jack, I'm all good. I unfortunately missed a deadline or two because I had things like my birthday, a stag, and then I was away for a weekend. I was traveling to a different county in Ireland, so that's why I've not been here. And of course we've had a 2-week break also with the football, so that's probably why you feel like you haven't seen me in a while, but nonetheless we're here now. And to be honest, I kind of needed that little break. I was kind of, just rushing, trying to get these streams set up, and now I can just sit down, relax, and just talk back to the stream in my own time. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Kuna to Wood or Marmoush? I think Marmoush is a really interesting one, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a benching soon enough. If I had to choose between Wood or Marmoush, I would go Marmoush though. I think the Leicester fixture is very appetizing for me. Sean So says, hey Chai, good to see you. I have Kuna and Nzoi, both unavailable. Only one free transfer. Should I roll and play Mikalenko in a 4-5-1? Or to do Beto for NDI? I think I would just play a 4-5-1. That fixture for Mikalenko is not too bad, especially with Kuna out. I think I would just play the Everton defender. Liam says, what are your thoughts on Tell and Dango since they signed? I like Danso for sure. I think Tell definitely has some raw potential. I don't know if he's a striker. I'd much prefer him to see him on the wing and Solanke up top. Of course, beggars can't be choosers when we don't have Solanke. But I do like the signing, of course. I just think he needs some time. I'm not very cutthroat on players when they first come in the door. Very exciting. FPL NX says, a benching headache. Start 3 of Colwell, Trent, Minoz and Gabriel. I would start Trent, Minoz and Gabriel for sure. Yeah. Colin says, transferred in Kuna before the red card for Isaac. Should I get Isaac back? Hope you are good, man. I'm all good. Should I get Isaac back? No. Anton says, is Trent a sell to fund Kuna move upgrade? No, I don't think so. Okay. Is Leandro Trossard versus United? And if we just quickly go back to that Rob T graphic. Leandro Trossard versus United. Arsenal expected 1.7 goals. Not exactly that high, but I'll be honest, Trossard has been a bit of a flop in recent weeks. I just think, I'm at the point with Trossard that there's no reason for me to get rid of him. You know he's going to play. And also, Arsenal haven't been too bad. They netted 7 in the Champions League, which was ridiculous. Trossard a part of one of those goals. I just feel like I've been unfortunate with Trossard. I feel like there's been some chances there for him. Yeah, but he's definitely not worth getting rid of for sure. And I like having a differential of an Arsenal midfielder for the time being. I think in that position, who he could potentially be in the future is the likes of a Bone. But right now, I have no worries about holding on to Trossard. And the next man, who we already spoke about, is Mo Salah. Again, I don't think there's any doubt that Mo Salah is going to get minutes. It's just the amount of minutes that kind of puts me off. I do think it's going to be 65. Make your bets. Put it in chat. There's 75% of the people in chat going with Salah. What minutes do you predict Salah to have? I'm going to say 65. And of course, I'm going to say Palmer with 90. So that's why I kind of prefer Palmer with 90. Some people might prefer Salah with 65, even over a Palmer with 90. But I just think the Leicester at home, it's just as good as Southampton at home, to be honest. So I'm happy. I don't think there's much else to say on Salah other than he's been absolutely ridiculous. Amar says, is your mic okay, Chai? Do let me know in chat if the audio is okay or if I need to move it a small bit. Maybe that's a bit better. Let me know in chat. I love feedback and I always try make my streams as enjoyable as possible, so let me know what you need. FPL Mackham says 80. Amar says, is your mic okay? Liam says 70. I think 65 to 75. I can't see him get more than 75. Not Palmer again, says Sushant. Bernard says, Burren says, legend, thank you again for the stream. By Wood, Marmouche, Strand or Wissa. Keep up the good work. I'm going to say Marmouche. Jimmy says, hey Chai, would you start João Pedro or Chris Wood this week? I would start João Pedro. I think there is a chance João Pedro gets benched, but I don't fancy that fixture versus City for first. Salah gonna have full minutes. The guy's a beast, and plus playing at Anfield. I mean, I agree that he's an animal and he can definitely play 90, but I think if you're Arne Slot, you don't want him playing 90 before that second leg in the Champions League. Derek says 72. Parfool says HI. Hello Parfool. How we keeping? Okay, so let's get onto the front three. João Pedro, Watkins, Gakpo, and on the bench, Rodgers, Mikalenko, Greaves, and Ward. I want to start Rodgers ahead of Gakpo, and I think I will do it. There is part of me that really wants to try to start Gakpo and just see if he, I don't know, off the odd chance that he does get minutes. I don't think he will, but I do think there is a chance. And that slight slimmer of any minutes versus Southampton at home, I really like for a Gakpo. Especially when I've held on to him for this long. Let's quickly talk about João Pedro, Watkins, and Gakpo, I guess. I think now owning the Watkins or João Pedro looks much better with the potential doubles. Let me quickly bring up FPL team for you so you can see what I'm talking about. But we'll quickly just go through the fixture list and show you some of the potential doubles that are coming up. I think it's really good to visualize with a really nice fixture ticker from FPL team so you can understand what I'm trying to talk about. If this can load. There you go. Okay, again, this is predicted, not confirmed. That's good to note. But like I said, with the Villa boys, in game week 33 they have a double, in game week 36 they have a double. I think this is good for anyone that is free hitting in 29 to actually hold on to the Villa guys. Again, this 36 double is not confirmed. It is quite unlikely, to be honest, but you always want to play your possibilities. So owning the likes of Watkins and Rodgers for me is not bad, even though I do plan on wildcard in 31 and probably going out of double Villa, even though they might have a double and Southampton. I don't know, there's something about the assets that I don't love. I feel like there's probably better opportunity to be grabbed from the likes of a Haaland, which I'll want. And owning both Haaland and Watkins I think will be quite difficult, especially if I want the likes of a Palmer and a Salah. Is that going to play? I don't see why he would play, to be honest, if he's not fully fit. But again, I wouldn't be surprised with Eddie Howe. You never know. If I could put my money on it, I'm gonna say no. And if he plays, he's gonna get more than 70. I can't imagine he ever be subbed on. There's no point. Anyway, going back to my own team, João Pedro is the other man I wanted to talk about. And as you can see, in 32, Brighton, of course, have Leicester, and then they have their double in game week 33, which is actually quite nice with Brentford and West Ham. Now, Danny Welbeck is back, so it's something I have to think about, and it's quite concerning, to be honest, because with Mitoma, that leaves Welbeck in competition with João Pedro, and João Pedro is probably not an out-and-out striker in comparison to Welbeck. He's probably more of a 9, so I don't know, I can't imagine Welbeck and Pedro play together again. That's just opinion again, though. And Ollie Watkins, I mean, he's been decent. He's missed some load of chances this season. He's been returned on a decent rate in recent weeks. Ipswich, of course, returned. Liverpool, blank versus Chelsea, and an assist versus Crystal Palace. Also, an injury in there, in between somewhere. So he's not been on full capacity, I want to say, for how good we know he can be. But, of course, blanking in game week 29, I think he will be the gateway out for me to bring in Erling Haaland in game week 29. I do want to potentially bring in maybe double or triple City going into the blank game week. And again, I plan on doing it with no free hit. So, he will probably be my door out. And lastly, Cody Gakpo. So, this is where it gets awkward for me. 2 seconds, I need to get some tissue. This is where it gets quite awkward to me. I'm going to bring up my team for game week 29. Let's just say I roll in game week 28. So in front of you, I have my game week 29 team. Quickly, before I go on to that, we've got Anish, a channel member for 6 months. He says, "Hey Chai, Here's my team: Trent, Pickford, Timber, Minoz, Salah, Palmer, Mbuemo, Nkunku, Gakpo, Wood, Beto. That's a very nice team. Kluivert, Milenkovic, Kirkes, and Dubravka. Anish, did you wildcard recently? Because, I mean, that's quite a good team. Interesting to see what you're going to do in Game Week 29, Anish. Let me know if you're free hitting or not. And thank you for becoming 6 months a cup of chai. I appreciate you supporting the channel as usual, even though we've been slacking recently. Anyway, let me go on to what I was saying with my team. So Mikalenko goes in, and Greaves also goes in. Captaincy for me this week goes on a man that's not in the team yet. But what I plan on doing, to be honest, is being really bold. I want to bring in Phil Foden. It sounds stupid, I know, but it's going to be. This is for 2 weeks, while I wait for wildcard, and I know I'm going to lose value on what's his name. Let me reset that. Undo. On Mo Salah, but I do think it will be worth it temporarily. My only issue with it is that I have to hold on to a Gakpo. Now, come game week 30, he probably will be fit. For anyone that isn't watching or just listening, the moves I just done was Haaland in for Watkins, Foden in for Salah, and Guardiola in for Trent, and playing a 4-4-2 for blank game week 29 and using my 3 free transfers. Paul van Resenberg, good morning, how are we? But yeah, this is how the team would line up for game week 29. Again, losing some value on Salah, which I don't love, and holding on to Palmer. Of course, I'll be making Erling Haaland the captain in this game week. I mean, for a non-free hit team, I think it's not bad. I look at some of the fixtures. Greaves, of course, you'd almost say that's a blank space. We got Palmer with Arsenal, which is not ideal. Trossard on the reverse of Chelsea at home. João Pedro with City, and you don't even know if he's going to play. But again, I think there is a lot of value in holding on to my free hit for the time being. And if we just look how that looks in Game Week 30, again, I think it is vital that you hold on to your transfer for Game Week 30. Because a lot of people have good teams going out of the blank, even if you are free hitting. So going into Game Week 30, I'd have triple City versus Leicester at home. Hopefully Gakpo would be back and we could play him with Everton at home. And then we'd have Minoz with Southampton away. There's only one fixture which I don't like in this team, which is Pickford away. Michael Sava says, something wrong with your sound, Troy. It sounded like you said Salah out for Foden. You almost got me there. I thought there was actually something wrong, Michael. No, you heard me right. Salah out for Foden in game week 29, and go against Salah for 1 week with Everton at home before inevitably bring him back in game week 31. Again, before I move on, Anish with another super chat. He says, thinking wildcard in 31, game week 29, Palmer out for Haaland. Yeah, and Anish, I really like that. And I think your team is really well set up to do something like that. You have a lot more players with better caliber than I do in some positions. But yeah, it looks quite good, Anish. But yeah, like I'm saying, this looks really, really nice, in my opinion, for game week 30. I think, sure, it lacks Salah and Trent. But that triple City up with Leicester at home, it looks really, really nice. How set are you on moving to Triple City? I'm not set at all, to be honest. But it is something, if anyone has watched the streams on Fantasy Football Scout, that I have talked about quite a bit. And then in game week 31 is when I'll be hitting the wildcard button. Why? Because you look at my team here, it's a lot of away fixtures. Again, the fixtures on paper aren't that bad. But I don't want Triple City for the long term, unless that 36 is confirmed, and then they'd have a double 33 and 36. So I do think there is some opportunity to be made on going early on Triple City. I do think it will be quite template going forward, as they have a very nice double in 33, of course, with Everton and Villa. So that's the current strategy. Let me know what you think of that. Paul says, please hit that like button. Yeah, do me a favor, do hit that like button for me. And thank you for joining me on another Saturday. it's also great to be back on the usual times we are on a Saturday. It's so unusual doing a midweek. It's a bit more difficult for me to do with college as well, so I'd much prefer the weekend ones like we're used to. Yeah, so another thing is, I was thinking, if my plan is to bring in triple City anyway, would I not be better off just going all my chips against Liverpool, or all my funds against Liverpool this week? When I say that, really bank down on Salah getting subbed off early and move him out this week. But then again, I just realised it's probably better holding Salah for the insurance and not to do anything too stupid. So definitely going to hold on to Salah for the time being. But Gakpo is really annoying me because I have to hold on to him. I don't have much choice now. But yeah, let me know what you think of that. Probably a bit more aggressive than other managers as well, I'd imagine. I think this week there is some good opportunity. I say it every single week, but there's a chance that Isaac doesn't play against West Ham. I don't fancy Chris Wood versus City. I'm going with Palmer captain instead of Salah with Southampton today. And I have a Leandro Trossard. So a lot of ground could be made up this game week. Again, the inverse is also possible. Chris Wood could inevitably score another hat-trick. Salah could always just get a double-digit haul like he's used to doing. Pedro could likely be benched and Trossard will likely blank again, but I fancy my chances this week, and I think this is a week where I could break into the top 100k if things go my way. And once I'm in the top 100k, you better know I'm not leaving, with Gameweek 29 decently set up, and then of course all my chips left to play for the remainder of the season. If I get into the top 100k this game week, I'll be quite confident in finishing in the top 10k. And I know you can't really say that because FPL is a game of, guessing almost, but I think we're in a really good position. Let me know what you think of that. I'd love a top 10k finish this season though. And I think if you look at how the season has went, again, I know I always touch on this. It's probably boring because no one really cares, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because it definitely is a talking point for myself. We struggled at the start of the season, I'll be real. Let me zoom in real quick. Started the season 1.2, which is always a decent start around the top 3 million, but then fell off and then kind of stayed around 1.1 million to 2 million for 10 game weeks, which was quite boring to be honest. And then from 12 to 20 kind of slowly crept up, but struggled a bit from 18 to 23, staying around the 200k range, and now we're finally getting closer to the top 100k, which is always great. Again, I'll always die on the fact that I think my moves this season have been quite good. I really like the moves I made this year. I just feel like the odd thing, like Chris Wood doing so well with some poor numbers, or even the likes of Alexander Isak doing so astronomically well, even though I know how good he is, but they're the little things that haven't quite went my way this season, where I think if they had, that's the difference of maybe 30 points. Like, if you consider how good Chris Wood has done, I would say I'd be around the 100k mark right now. But again, that's not how FPL works, and that's just me making excuses for why I'm doing poorly. So I do think there's plenty of ground to be made up, even with only 10 game weeks left in the season. But you have to remember, 4 or 5 of those game weeks is triple captain, which I've yet to play, which a lot of people have, wildcard 31, free hit 34, and bench boost 33. So I think if I look at it that way, hopefully I just need a thing or two to go my way, and then we should be laughing. Hopefully it's that easy and things actually go my way. I can't wait to be sitting 500k come the end of the season. It's gonna be great. But you can't look at it like that, and I always back what I do. So yeah, Alex Fernandez says he's back. I don't know if I'm back yet. It's mad to think this time last season I was sitting around 80th in the world, I believe, and here we are, 170k. But look, 170k is decent at this point in the season. I feel like it's been quite a difficult season as well. So people doing decently, but no one doing amazing. Should I triple captain Salah? I don't think so, man. Bradley Martin says, "Good day, Chai mate. Would you go Evan Nilsson, Strand Larson, or Beto for a 2-week punt?" You know what? I don't mind Evan Nilsson. I would love to hold off one more week to see if he does get this Tottenham game. I don't love Strand Larson with no Kuna, even though I know he can do it without Kuna, but I just feel like they're kind of flaky strikers for poor enough teams. To be honest, out of the bunch, probably Evan Nilsson's one for me, Bradley. Finally broken into the top 1 million, says Franok. Very good. Oh, 6 million around Game Week 10. Yeah, see, it's all about perspective, and if you're 6 million in Game Week 10 and now you're breaking into the top 1 million, that's quite good. Dylan Hudson, good morning. Sign says, I have Hall, Kuna, Mateta, and only one free transfer. Who to prioritise selling? Probably Kuna. He's probably back the latest. Should I triple captain Salah? No. Are you bringing in Haaland next week? Yes. Are you believing Palmer captain? Absolutely. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't. I'm not trying to be edgy. But let's look at a quick Rob T graphic, will we? While we're here. What we got? Let's look at predicted goal scorers. Goal projections. Mo Salah 0.95. Cole Palmer 0.75. Now these do assume 90 minutes, I'm fairly sure. Darwin Núñez coming in third, 0.67. Haaland 0.65 and Jota 0.65. Very interesting list. No surprise to see Liverpool assets top of the pile. Even Diaz coming in around 8th or 7th. But yeah, that's interesting because, of course, if this predicts Salah 90 minutes, you'd assume Salah would be in and around where Palmer is if he's predicted 70. Let's have a little stalk on Twitter, will we? Let's see what other managers are doing. FPL Fran is rolling his transfer. He's benching Dango, and he's playing Pedro, Isaac, and Beto. My team is very, very similar to Fran's, of course. The only thing he's different is Alisson Becker, and he's also got Mbuemo and Isaac. You know what? If I were to pick a manager who was the most similar to myself, again, this is doing Fran discredit because I would say he's a better manager than me, and why I say that is because he's a bit more logical in his thinking. I'm a bit more rogue. Don't think with my brain. But yeah, Fran is very, very similar of a manager to me. Now, how I know this is because in the weeks I captain Cole Palmer, he's also captain Cole Palmer. We don't speak that often as well. So, also, he brought in Trossard the same week I brought in Trossard. I actually texted him about it. I was like, Fran, no way, like. And he also captained Trossard when I captained Trossard. So, he does see opportunity in the same areas I do. We've got the same back three. We're also both holding on to João Pedro. Fran is very analytical, but I think he does play with the analytics in a way where he's still making moves on his own, and that's why I really like him as a manager. He's always been my favourite manager in the community. But yeah, solid team. Interesting that he's also gone Palmer captain. I imagine that most of the analytic guys will be going Cole Palmer. Be interesting to see. We got Spiros' team who's going Salah. George says, what happened to team news? I swear there's almost no team leaks anymore. Yeah, I suppose, George, the big one was City last season. And Pep really cracked down on the leakers. So Tony has been absolutely slacking on us this season. But yeah, that's why we've not seen anything. Because other than that, there's nothing else other than Liverpool team news, I don't think. Sujan says, let me quickly put back up my team. Sujan says, 4 million in Game Week 12 and 11k right now. I'm feeling massive red this week. Why do you think that, Sujan? Kittle says, you seem to be depressed, despairing with Spurs recently, Shy. Yeah, no, it's hard to be. For me, like, I always support Spurs regardless of how well we're doing. It's harder when your team is doing poorly to be interested in the season because you just want it to be over. We've nothing really to play for other than Europa League, which doesn't look like it's going so well for us, but let's see what happens. Mikalenko or Robinson, shall I? Probably go Robinson. When will Zabanya be back? And have you thought about Saka? Saka is one that I've thought about. I don't know when Zabanya is going to be back, I'll be honest. Have I thought about Saka? Yes, but I'm quite wary of bringing in players that are back from such a bad injury so soon. So no, he's not really been on my mind. Bradley Martin says, cheers for your thoughts on it, mate. Need 29 cover, and since Mateta is out, I might as well make the swap this week and play some fixtures. Absolutely, I agree. Play one of Wood, Dango, or Mikalenko, says Leo. I'll be playing Chris Wood. FPL Mackham says, bringing in Beto for Kuna. Give me lots of options to get in Haaland in 29. What are your thoughts? Yes, I do like that move, especially when Kuna is going to be banned for a few games. Money aside, would you get Beto or Wissa till game week 30? Wissa. I will own Erling Haaland in game week 29. I just don't know how I'm going to do it yet. For sure. Alright, let's keep looking. I really like the idea of Marmoush. He's one I did look at this game week. Marmoush for Gakpo. The only thing I don't like about that is I really want Josko Guardiola. And also that would mean I end up bringing in Triple City, which I don't know if I love. Expecting Pep to start Marmoush, Foden and Haaland, I don't know how likely that is. By the way, let me center my camera. What am I doing? Slacking so bad. Hopefully that's a bit better. But yeah, let me quickly bring up FPL team again. Oh, I zoomed in too much. I'm slacking. Let me bring up FPL team again. So the other route I was thinking, like I just said, is moving out Cody Gakpo this week. Let me reset this. This is quite interesting. Let me know what you think of this. I don't love it because I have a player on the bench that I can play, like Rodgers. Marmoush in game week 28, this game week, for Gakpo. In game week 29, Watkins to Haaland. And again, the same move of Salah to Foden. And I have 0.2 in the bank. That leaves me with Triple City with Brighton at home. And Triple City with Leicester at home. Again, that is chasing upside. Very much so, but expecting that many starts, I don't know. I do quite like the fixture for Marmoush this week, though. For sure. But yeah, that's very unlikely. I think I'm just going to play Rodgers this game week. And try bank on double Villa again. Even though I benched Rodgers last week, it is what it is. Johnny Football says, morning, Shy. I've Kuna and Hall. Might have to take a -4 this week. Bring in Manoz and don't know if I leave Kuna and bring in Nkunku, or would you suggest a better option for a Kuna replacement? The Kuna replacements are very, very, very thin. The only thing about leaving Kuna is you're gonna not have him for the next maybe 5 real life weeks because of course the international break. I don't mind Nkunku. Leicester at home. I suppose it really depends on what you're doing in game week 29. Because if you have to bring in someone that plays in 29, ideally you don't want it to be someone who's playing against Arsenal, I suppose. João Pedro or Dango to start, Chai? I'll be starting Pedro, personally. Chai, who's your owner for Spurs? Enick. His name is Joe Lewis, and I'm fairly sure he's in court. But yeah, he is American. Well, he's not. Enick are American-owned group, I'm fairly sure. But I don't think he's actually American. He's in the Bahamas on a yacht. Foden and Marmoush minutes get me a bit nervous. More inclined towards Haaland and Guardiola. Yeah, I agree, Kittle. Playing with your brain is Haaland and Guardiola for sure. Playing with something else is Haaland, Foden, Marmoush. Spacine says 2.3 rank Palmer, Salah, captain. I think regardless of where my rank was, I try to do the best decision every single week, and for me, I think it is Palmer captain. My boy George says no black hoodie today. We're after switching it up, and we're currently wearing the black zip up. What do we think? George, George in chat, he does the streams for us every single game week that we're live. He's using his triple captain this game week on Salah, which I don't agree with. Chat, try convince him otherwise to not be so silly and to use it in a double game week. Watch Salah get a hat-trick and bury my rank. By the way, my season's over if Salah does get a double-digit haul and Palmer does nothing. Hi Joe, I hope you're well. I'm very good, Ishank. Thank you for asking. Who's the best defender for 4.4? I have to transfer out of Veltman. I'm thinking Burn from Newcastle. I'll be free hitting in game week 29. What's your opinion? If I had to bring in a defender and I was free hitting in 29, it probably would be a Liverpool one. Because they have Southampton at home, which you'd bank on a clean sheet. Really high chance this week. And then they have Everton coming out with a blank. Who's the best defender for 4.4? Sorry. I misread that. 4.4. Who's the 4.4 defender? Let me look real quick. Let's have a quick look, will we? 4.4. Sort by price. Ooh. You know it's bad when we're on the fourth page. Levi Colwell. Yeah, Colwell if you're free hitting in 29 because you get the fixture this week. Who do they have in 30? They have Spurs, which isn't great but not bad. I would say either Colwell or Wan-Bissaka. I don't love it, but it's not bad. I wouldn't be bringing him Burn, I don't think. I would rather Chase. For sure. But yeah, let me go back to my team. Sorry. Appreciate all the advice, Choi. Glad to see you back this week. No worries, Johnny. Thank you for joining me. My roots to Haaland means a midfielder under 5.2 million. Who would you choose? We're getting into the specifics now. I don't know if you need a playing midfielder, Dylan. I'm fairly sure in game week 33, Southampton have a double game week. Someone that I've looked at is Tyler Dibbling. West Ham and Fulham in a double game week for Tyler Dibbling, who's sitting around 4.5 million, I believe. So he's someone I'm looking at. Again, you're not going to start him every week, though. But Burn gets a double in game week 32 because I'll be on wildcard 34. Okay, that makes way more sense. Sorry, I forgot to account for that. Then Burn is the answer, yeah, for sure. I forgot that your chip strategy is completely different to mine. My bad. Tarkovsky or Kirkes? I always feel like Tarkovsky can go up with a bullet header. So I'm going to say Tarkovsky, Paul. James says, morning show. I've got a bit of a benching headache. Who would you bench out of Bowen, Mbeumo, Cliver, Wissa, and Wood? James, I'd be benching Wood. Bringing Marmoush or Wood for Kuna. Also chasing rank this week. I would say Marmoush. Just a better fixture next game week. And a good fixture in 30 also. I have a hunch that they're going to rest Salah this game for the PSG game. Should I go extremely differential and captain Minta? My season has already been trashed so far. 2.7 million, so ... Look, I would say Minta's a bit crazy. I can't say I agree with that. Can you go against Salah captain if you think he's going to get an arrest? Absolutely. Should it be Minta? I'm not going to say no. If you think and have a feeling in your balls, and if you're not a boy, you don't have balls, then if you have a feeling in your stomach, then go for it. Absolutely. I'd hate to be the reason why you're missing out on points. Chai, what are your thoughts on Marmoush this week for Kuna? I do like it for sure. Is Wood better? I don't know if Wood's better. I prefer City. I think City will beat Forest. Thanks, Chai, for the affirmation. Appreciate it. No worries. And going big or go home, says George. Dango or Kirkes, says Paul. I would always play the attacker, even if his minutes don't look great. So I'm going to say Dango. Paul says, not a great idea, Chai. I don't know, Paul, exactly what he means, not a great idea, but you're probably right. You probably are right. Okay, let me quickly bring up Twitter again. M. Eamon says, sorry, Chai, miss you. Did Liverpool have a double game week left? I miss you too, my man. Do Liverpool have a double game week left? No, they don't. they don't. Choice start 2 of João Pedro, Rodgers, and Semenyo. Probably Rodgers and Semenyo. Oh, no. I would play João Pedro and Semenyo. For me. I really want Marmoush, man. You know what? I've been quite fortunate not to have injuries other than Gakpo this game week. I need to bench Gakpo. That's starting to frustrate me. I click save. Okay, so that's the team. Again, we have 2 free transfers and 1.8 in the bank. I actually think we're in a really good spot to roll into next week. I don't want to make Atten too rash. I mean, Marmoush is really nice to me on paper. But again, just planning on... I feel like it is a small bit rushed. Again, if I bring in Marmoush here in Gameweek 28, it frees up some funds, to be honest, and I'll be getting rid of Gakpo before any more price moves. And in Gameweek 29, it is easy for me to do Foden and Haaland in. Is that very aggressive, though? And I suppose the thing with that is I don't have to actually go Foden. I can go any midfielder for 9.4. When I say any midfielder for 9.4, I mean, I'm not exactly spoiled for choice. I think one I do like for Game Week 29 is, of course, Bruno Fernandes, but that is only temporary. Other than that, there's no one I love. So this looks absolutely ridiculous, especially with how poor City have been. But I do think on an attacking point of view, they are kind of back. Should I bring in Marmoush this week? It's kind of on my mind. Let me close this poll on the Salah. 72% of people going Salah captain. That's interesting. Good to see that you're sticking to your guns and you know the captain, the best player in the league. I mean, it's not that hard. Should I bring in Marmoush? Yes or no? So Marmoush for Gakpo. That's what is potentially going to happen for me. If not, I just play Rodgers, which is not bad. Oh no, people are saying yes. They want to see the silly moves from Choi. Don't bring in Marmoush. Don't bring in MMM. Congrats, Neil. Congrats. Bench 1 out of Wood, Wissa, Kluivert. I would start the 2 penalty takers and bench Wissa. Dango, Gabriel, João Pedro, bench 2. Dango. I have a 25-point lead in my mini league. Should I captain Salah or Palmer? I would always captain the one I think is going to get more points, regardless of how many points I'm ahead of my mini league rival. Hey mate, start Hoisin or Robinson? Robinson. Marmoush for Gakpo or Beto for Gakpo is what I wanted to do yesterday as well, but not sure if Gakpo starts or not. I think it's unlikely he starts. I do think there is a chance though. So Prass is currently sitting 5.5k in the world. Another really good manager. I would say one of the best planners in the space. Straightforward role for three free transfers next game week despite the nice fixtures. Have a feeling this will be a low scoring week overall. I don't know, Prass, if I agree with that, but he's gone with the King captain. Interesting to see Prass has gone with Palmer voice captain, Salah captain. For me, I just think this could be a nice week for Palmer. Try to gain some ground. Do you like chai latte, says Gary? I do. But I don't drink them because, you know, I just feel like I'd be getting it because my name is Chai, you know what I mean? I'm more of a black coffee Americano guy. I have been for the last 2 years. Let me know. Do you drink coffee? Yes or no? That's the poll we'll do next. I feel like the age demographic suits yes for coffee. We'll do it after this poll. Do hit that like button for me. By the way, 100 people in here. Thank you for joining me on this Saturday. Good to see you've not forgot about me and my existence, even though I'm not having such a good season this year. Let's see if we can finish the season strong. And of course, we'll be back next year. I hope to make more content next year. Again, I've been slacking this year because I moved into a new house. Well, I'm not moved in yet, but there's a lot of work being done and it's just on the back of my mind. I've been quite busy with college. I'm in my final year and I have projects to do. I'm also looking for a job because I'll be finishing up uni at the end of this semester. Trying to make FPL videos and deadline streams in between them, unfortunately, it has to take the back burner. So that's why you've not seen me as much, and that's why my Twitter has been on the decline, to be honest. But I do hope you've not forgot about me. I'm a familiar face in the community and I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay. Of course, this season has not been as good as last season. Last year is where we made our mark, and to be honest, with 2 top 5k finishes underneath the belt, and of course we were second in the world last season, I'm always here for the excitement regardless of how well I'm doing. So love playing FPL. Good to see people still enjoying the streams, and I'm sorry for the inconsistency, but always good to be streaming on a Saturday. Do you get your questions in chat though? Let me know. What dilemmas do you have? I'll try to answer as many as possible. What are you studying? I'm doing computer science, and believe it or not, my final year project is actually, so final year project, thesis, whatever you want to call it, is actually on fantasy football. You're chilling, bro. Focus on your IRL stuff first. FPL will be there every year anyway. Joven, that's exactly what I'm saying. I can slack on FPL, unfortunately. I will still have people who, I don't know why, come back to watch me or listen to some of my opinions. But yeah, I do hope that you think these streams are a bit refreshing. I know I do provide something a bit different to some other content creators. I'm a bit younger, maybe come with a bit more rogue shouts because I'm younger. my silly young brain decides to do some stupid things in FPL, but you know what? Considering how non-template I am and rogue I'd be considered, my rank is always respectable in my opinion. Of course, 2 top 5k finishes, and in my opinion, I think we're on the road for a top 10k this season. A lot of ground to be made up, but I do think it is possible. Repent says, are you studying data science? No, I'm not, unfortunately. That would be quite handy to have going into this. But I'm using machine learning for my project. Matthew says, wow, that's very cool. How is people connected to computer science? How is FPL connected to computer science? You'd be surprised, Matthew. Everything is actually connected to computer science. There's no company out there that don't have a IT department to their team. In terms of FPL, using data and using AI is, I guess, how it is mostly connected. But it is interesting working with data. My understanding of FPL and my understanding of my project of FPL are 2 completely different things. Doesn't matter how much I know about fantasy football. In this context, if I'm working with data in that type of way, it is very different than unusual. I'm not gonna lie, it's not as enjoyable as I thought it would be. I don't think any assignment or project is, but again, at least it's on something I do have interest in. The idea is just to make some models and see what happens, pretty much. But yeah, no, it is enjoyable. Good luck with your final semester. Thank you, Dominic. But who would you bench out of Pedro or Rogers? I'll be benching Rogers. Final year projects on FBL. Sounds so nice. Best of luck, brother. Love you. Thank you, Sujan. Like and subscribe, says Ishank. One of the best deadline streams out there. Thank you. Umwara says, ooh, I can't read all that. Palmer captain confirmed. I'm 100 million % on Palmer captain. I'm not moving it. Chip Strat Choi says Alex Fernandez. Free at 34. Bench boost 33. Triple captain in 32 or 36. Bench boost 33. I can't remember if I said that. Wildcard 31. Hi Choi, says Benjamin. Got Hall and Kuna. 1 free transfer and no free hit 29. Not sure whether to roll or transfer 1 out. I would transfer 1 out for sure. Play Watkins or Cliver? Watkins. Let me quickly size this Marmouche move up real quick. Am I blind? Where is Marmouche? I mean, 73, 71, 75, 76, 73. That is consistency. Of course, 17 pointer sandwiched in between that, but I don't know. Any City attacker with consistent minutes is all you'd be looking for. to be honest. 3 decent games coming up as well. And of course, it looks like the doubles are going to be on City's side come game week 33. And I know I will be wildcarding before, but getting in early could be quite nice. It's on my mind for sure. Forest away, again, on paper, not great, but I think City beat him. Have you played the triple captainship? I haven't, no. I plan on using it in 32 or 36. Best replacement for Gakpo or Kuna. I have Isaac with 1 free transfer. Probably would, even though it's boring. I think it's really boring. I think Marmouche is the exciting one. Is a Palmer captaincy basically an X-Mins call for you, says Kittle. Yes, it is. But then again, the way I've tried to weigh it up is if Salah and Palmer were both on the same minutes, would I have put the armband on Palmer? I think in this particular week, no. Because Southampton is marginally, or not marginally, okay, maybe a small bit better than Leicester. I think I've went Palmer captain this season over Salah 4 times. It worked my way twice, again barely, and it's gone really badly against me twice. But when in none of those weeks I thought Palmer had better minutes than Salah. And this week, Palmer does have better minutes than Salah. So I think there is a chance that I could have captained Palmer regardless of the minutes. Again, on paper though, this is a better fixture for Salah for sure. But I think especially when I account for minutes, yes. I'm going to say yes, Kittle. It is an X-Mins call. Tosin and Nketiah or Xerxes as a differential. Definitely don't love it. Especially with Arsenal this week for Xerxes. Nketiah is interesting. I think if I was on free hit 29, I might consider it. But Mateta will be back. He will be back. Focal is locked in. What's he doing? He's rolled. Of course he has. Interesting team. He has double Brentford and double Bournemouth and double Chelsea. Such an interesting team. He's having a decent season, I'm fairly sure as well. See if we can get anything else. We've got 25 minutes until the deadline. Is it Fran's birthday? Is this true? I don't see any balloons, but I don't know. I'll say happy birthday to Fran anyway. Anyway, going back to my own team. I'm quite happy with my team. I think on paper, like a lot of decent home fixtures: Fulham, Leicester, Southampton, and then away for Arsenal, which is a decent fixture with United. The only one I'm quite skeptical on, to be honest, is Rodgers. He's. I never thought he was a transfer out when everyone wanted to transfer out because he's been blanking around here, but he's still getting such good minutes. I know Villa have to travel because Champions League, but I don't know. I still think as an asset, what do I want for a 5.6 asset and his minutes? He's playing for a top 6 team. His fixtures aren't bad, and he has doubles coming up, so it doesn't really make sense for me to sell him, I don't think. Do I like him this week? Not necessarily. I think Brentford have been quite decent. But again, you never know. It's really what's let me down in this part of the season is the double Villa boys. You know, I backed Watkins for a few weeks now, and it has been Watkins versus Isaac, and of course I've been absolutely smoked. I just imagine if I had Isaac instead of Watkins, I would be easily 30 points up, I want to say. They're the little calls that I've got wrong this season, which have been unfortunate, but again, maybe in hindsight it was silly. I remember one particular week, the reason I never went with Isaac is because I got priced out. So I ended up going with Watkins, I'm fairly sure. But let's see, Watkins has been getting chances. He has been getting chances all season. He's just not converting. But yeah, Villa are not top 6. Okay, no, they're not top 6 right now, but let me quickly bring up the table. I think if you consider, you know, in terms of teams in the league, budget-wise, they're nowhere near. And also, look, I think Villa are better than Fulham. I think they're better than Brighton. I think it's debatable if they're better than Bournemouth. They're definitely better than Spurs and United. So they're definitely not far off. They're between 6 and 8 for sure. I would say it's arguable on Newcastle as well, to be honest. Again, I just feel like they've been with Champions League this season. Of course, it's going to take a toll on their Premier League season. Also, only 6 points between Forest and Villa. So, of course, Villa do have a game ahead of them. Thoughts on triple captain Salah? No, not for me. Thoughts on Watkins not taking the penalty? Not surprising, to be honest. Seems to be quite poor at them. Start Mbuemo or Dango? Mbuemo. Mikalenko or Kirkes? Mikalenko. Beto or Kluivert? Kluivert. I can't wait for Luka Voskovic to eventually come in, by the way. He almost seems too good to be true. He scores goals every single weekend. Let's see what Harry's doing. He's not posted. Okay. Let me quickly close this poll. Let's do a coffee poll. I suppose. Do you drink coffee every morning? That's where we'll start. I know, top tier FPL content. I die for it. Wood or bone? Bone. Mikalenko or Kirkes? Mikalenko. Let me quickly bring back up the fixtures. This is what I look at most of the time. I'm such a fixtures manager. I'm really good at playing the fixtures. Happy Ramadan, by the way. If I didn't realize that. Is it? How did I not know that? It is. Happy Ramadan, my man. I drink coffee, but after iftar. Fair. 53% yes. Try any suggestions on assistant manager selection for this game week? Yes, actually. Let me bring up the Premier League table. Again, don't listen to me because what do I know? But let me give you my opinion and let me know what you think of it. Give me 2 seconds and I'll bring up this table again. If I had my assistant manager chip, I would, without a shadow of a doubt, be putting it on Tottenham versus Bournemouth. 10 million %. Ange Postecoglou would be coming into my team. Without a doubt. Best replacement for Gordon if you could pick anyone. If I could pick anyone. Foden. Assuming that you're not free hitting in 29. Who are you keeping on bench next blank game week? I don't know yet, David. I'm thinking about getting rid of Salah and Gakpo. Bring in Enzo, Elanga, Minta, or Ethan and Wari. Again, it depends on your strategy. I didn't get Wari though. Happy Women's Day. Happy Women's Day, Spacine. Downtown says, you working in finance? I think you're asking me that because of my zip up. No, I'm not working in finance. I just said I'd wear a different black zip up today. When are you going to use your wildcard? Chai Bratishka. I'm going to use it in game week 31. Need Gordon replacements. Got Gordon, Palmer, Salah, Rogers, and Wari so far. I don't know. I'm going to say Foden. It probably sounds stupid though. Nkunku or Neto. Nkunku. Start Milenkovic or Hoisin. Milenkovic. Chai means team, my community. It does indeed, Sujan. Bring in Enzo, Elanga, Mintar, and Wari. I answered that already. Rudolph Salah, why that? Well, in game of 29 he doesn't have a fixture. In 31, I'm down for going against Salah for one game week. You said Moyes? Didn't hear you clearly. No, I said Ange Postecoglou. Peter Cardage says, Chai, Mikalenko or Robinson? I have Pickford. I would go Robinson. Hall for Hoisin? No. Who should I get rid of this blank game week? Munoz or Trent? Neither. Mbuemo or Mitoma? Mbuemo. Set on Palmer? Absolutely. Yusuf, good to see you, my man. Start Kirkes or Dango? Always the attacker for me, so Dango. Enjoy to Marmouche, but have 2 free transfers and need to take hits next. Enjoy for Marmouche. I do like that move. Would you start Gakpo or Semenyo? You know what? I would start Gakpo in that position. Because I don't know if Gakpo comes off the bench. If he's... Like, I think he either plays or doesn't. 60 minutes or no mins. Thoughts on Morgan Gibbs-White and Asensio for Wildcard? I don't love it. Thank you, Shy. No worries, Peter. Why don't you have either Wood or Isaac or both? Downtown, that's a good question. And to be honest, it's been my downfall this season. But when I take that into account, the fact that I'm sitting at 160k with no Isaac for weeks on end where he's scoring and no Wood when he's been absolutely destroying me, I don't know how I'm still in a respectable rank, to be honest. But again, that's why I'm not in around the top 100k where I usually am. Any news so far? Nope. Good to see you, Chai. Palmer captain, got to work at least once, right? Right? Let's see what happens. I'm backing it. Semenyo or Dango? Semenyo. Let's refresh the timeline real quick. What is the timeline saying? Not a whole lot, it looks like. Rodgers or Wood to start? Oh, that's tough. That is tough. Rodgers or Wood to start? Rodgers. Brentford away is a better fixture than City away, for sure. Or City home, sorry. How should I bench Elanga or Rodgers? I'd be benching Elanga. Mikalenko or Milenkovic. It's an absolute tongue twister. Mikalenko. I'd say I have a similar playstyle to you. Finding differentials despite killing my high EO players. Yeah, so I just play in such a way where, like, there's so much upside if what I do goes right. But the inverse is also, of course, true. When the likes of Wood and Isaac do so well. I love how I play though. It's so exciting. I hate being... I hate following the crowd just for the sake of it. Again, that always has some... Like, there is correlation between loads of people bringing in the players for a reason, like, but sometimes it's good to think, see if there's opportunity elsewhere. It's always the type of manager I've been, especially when fixtures go for players that are going to get minutes. I think that is something that is not talked about often, because we often look at form and how well a player is doing, but when it's a decent fixture for a player, that's when you want to hop on, and you know he's going to get minutes because there's always opportunity there. Anyway, I don't need to tell you how to play this game. I'm sure you all know, but I'm just telling you what my mind be thinking. Will Ramadan Salah bag? Probably. He probably will. Agree, I don't always follow template. Please, 2 out of João Pedro, Mikalenko, Bruno, and Raul. João Pedro, Bruno, Fernandes. Bench Isaac, Enzo, or Wissa. Bench one of Isaac, Enzo, or Wissa. I would bench Wissa. I got Kuna, Hall, and Ahmed. Would have to play Castagna as a 4th defender to roll, would you? Nothing wrong with playing Castagna, in my opinion. Bench one, please, says Lee. Wissa, Semenyo, João Pedro, Bruno, Bone. I would bench Wissa. Get Marmouche, man. I like the idea of Marmouche, but I'm going to actually back double Villa against Brentford away. I think Marmouche is just a bit too aggressive for me going into game week 29 because I want Guardiola. I don't want to be locked out with Guardiola. I think Guardiola is the defender I want in game week 29. Dango versus Rodgers. Rodgers. Mikalenko or Aaron Wan-Bissaka? That's tough. I'm going to say Mikalenko. Any City players we should be looking to get? Yeah, Guardiola for sure. And Haaland. 10 million %. Thank you, says Lee. No worries. Salah at 3 p.m. Home fixture during Ramadan has never hauled historically. Like your captaincy shout. That's interesting, Ref Cool, if you look at it like that. I'm 40 behind you, 40 points behind you in my mini league. Should I captain Salah or Palmer? I love the way you're telling me how many points you are behind me, and now you're asking me for advice. This is what I mean. All right, let me quickly make a note on something, and I think this will change your perspective. Us content creators, you're playing against us. If I'm listening to any content creator anywhere, I'll take what they say and throw my own spin on it. But I'm remembering that I'm playing against them, and although I'm trying to help you as much as possible, you should be looking to get an edge on me. And that's where I would take what I say, take what Harry says, Oscar, Ross, whoever it is, or Andy, or mate, and I would just go, okay, what he's saying, is good. Or you might say, what he's saying is absolute shit. And I'll go, I'm doing this, I disagree with what he's saying, and I think I can beat him by doing this. I think if you always look to how you can one-up us, is how you'll get an advantage on us. But yeah, that's quite interesting that you're like, I'm 40 points behind you, what should I do? I can't tell you that because I'm ahead of you. And then, if I tell you to Captain Palmer, you're not going to gain anything on me. Provide bad advice for those in your mini league. Yeah. Motivate me for Palmer captaincy. Also, start Wood or Dango. I'm not going to try to convince you on Palmer captaincy because I think Salah captaincy, if you think he has minutes, is there. I just think that Leicester are a home fixture for Palmer. He can do very well against low blocks. I think he was unfortunate last week, and I think he has better minutes than Salah this week. But Wood or Marmoush for Kuna, or just start Semenyo, have Kluivert. Just start Semenyo. Leicester have been shite. Palmer has been shite. Neto would be a good one. Sure. I'm not sure that's how it works, but maybe. Start 2, Foden, Dango, Gakpo, Robinson. Foden, and I'd risk starting Gakpo, to be honest, Tom. If I had those set of players, I would just play Gakpo, just to see if you can try catch any minutes. Evan Nielsen in for Kuna, I don't love it. I can't lie, I don't love it. Let's do a little scroll on Twitter again. We've got 10 minutes until the deadline. For the 112 of you that are in here, do me a favour, hit that like button. I appreciate you, as usual, for joining me on another Saturday, even though we've been slacking recently. I know I keep bringing it up, but the fact that you guys keep coming back and I've been so inconsistent, I do appreciate it. I think it is a bit mad that everyone is bringing in Chris Wood. I kind of don't agree with it. City at home. Hey bro, best defender to buy if you're not on free at 29. Maybe a Trent, Van Dijk. Hey guys, says Palmer, but I don't know, after I might be like, why did I go against Salah? Yeah, but you can't look at it like that. I mean, hindsight is a beautiful thing. Of course, if Salah outscores Palmer, we're all going to be like, oh, it was so obvious. But if you think that, just captain Salah. You can't play it like that. If Salah outscores Palmer, I'm going to be like, I stand on my decision. I don't regret captain Palmer. I think all the signs for me to captain Palmer were there. And Salah just done what he done on the day. And I don't regret it. That's just the type of manager I am, though. I can understand if you're like, oh, I should have done this. But it's a game. This game is about decisions. And if you don't back your own decisions, I mean, why are you doing it? I feel like Matoma Halls. Bring him in then. My gut says Palmer. Sorry, I've got Trent and Minoz and 2 bench defenders. I've got to sell Hall. Maybe a Colwell. Omar says Postecoglou or Potter. Postecoglou. Liam, I would have been bringing in Wood for Ipswich, but Kuna's suspension just caused me to go a week early. That's fairly awkward. These suspensions and injuries were an absolute nightmare in the FA Cup. Should I start Dango or Gakpo? I would just try play Gakpo at that point. HI, who would you bench? Kirkez, Rogers or Dango? I would bench Dango. Wissa or Bruno Chai? Bruno. Villa playing a lot of games. Do you not worry about fatigue? Oh, I absolutely do, Jonathan. And again, on that note, let's bring up Villa. quickly. I probably should have looked at Min's. Let's have a look. 2 seconds. Sorry, I know you probably can't see anything. Full match schedule. Club Bruges. Rogers playing 90. Watkins off early. Yeah, I think Rogers is young. He's a minutes monster. He has barely missed out. So, to be honest, not too worried. Watkins subbed off early. Don't mind it. They don't really have anyone else you want to be playing up top other than maybe a Rashford. So, I want to say quite confident. Again, let me know if you disagree with that. Definitely food for thought though. Campbell says, bench one Jimenez or Elanga. I'll be benching Elanga. Start Nwari or Wood? Nwari. Okay, I'm considering Guardiola, Cole or Cucurella. Guardiola is your man. Help me please. I have Raya, Mikalenko, Guardiola, Kirkes, Mbeumo, Palmer, Salah, Kluivert, Wood, Isaac, Kuna, Dango. 3-5-2 on roll transfer, I guess someone else in. I would roll. Start Minta or Raul? Minta. Start Nwari, Wood or João Pedro? João Pedro. Might have answered this, but Wood or Dango start? Wood, for sure. If it's Wood or Dango, it's Wood. If it's Dango or Rogers, it's Rogers. If it's Dango or João Pedro, it's Pedro. We've got 5 minutes until the deadline. My team is locked. Again, sorry if it's been a boring stream because I've not made any moves. We're going to have 3 free transfers next week to work around with. Let me quickly reset everything and show you what I'm working with next week. So Gameweek 29 will look like this. Like I said, we'll have 8 playing players and we'll have 3 free transfers to make. A big decision on whether or not I want to get rid of Mohamed Salah for the likes of a Foden. Move up Ollie Watkins to potentially Erling Haaland, and then bring in, of course, a Josko Guardiola for a Trent Alexander-Arnold. There's one other interesting thing that we could do. Potentially, sounds so stupid, and it looks so stupid to be honest, but potentially bringing in triple City attack, just for the buzz for 2 game weeks. See if we can do something a bit ridiculous with Brighton at home this week, and Leicester at home the following week. Do something like this and go into game week 30 with a really strong team with triple City attack. Trent back in, Rogers back in for Pedro, I want to say, and Mano's back in for Greaves. That's a very, very strong team. The only thing I don't like is, of course, Pickford between the sticks with Liverpool away. And then game week 31, I'll be hitting that wildcard button, I'm fairly sure for certain. And we'll be looking to target some of the double game weeks in game week 32 and 33. So I'm likely to set up with probably double Newcastle. I might see if Gordon is back by then. Will he be back by then? Yeah, he should be. Of course, Isaac will be in my team. Whether or not I want a Nick Pope. And then same for Palace. I'll probably have a Daniel Munoz, and I might have one of Eze and Mateta. I don't think I'll be tripling up on those guys. And I hope to bring in maybe an asset or 2 from Villa. Maybe hold on to a João Pedro for the double. Fulham I'm not too interested in. One player I do like, of course, other than Triple City, which is probably going to be inevitable for me for Game Week 33. But Tyler Dibbling maybe from Southampton if I want a enabler for 4.5. And then Gerard Bowen, I'm almost certain will be in my team for double Game Week 33. I actually really like that game. And if I'm not bench boosting, I was thinking potential for a triple captain to do something a bit different. Again, we won't speak too much on that. It's all talk. I don't want to be filling you with some false information. That's just where my mind is currently. As for this week, quite confident in a green arrow. I know it's bold to say when I've got the armband on someone a bit different. What do we expect the effective ownerships to look like this week? You know what? I actually think Palmer is going to be quite high. I'm going to say it's 120% Palmer and maybe 145% Salah. Again, quote me on that. 120 Palmer. I'm going to write this down. 120 Palmer, 145 Salah. That's how I think the armband will look this week. But yeah, I think this is going to be a week of Palmer versus Salah. There are a lot of people going with the trusty Salah. I think his minutes are a bit less trusty this game week. See on Twitter that Moosh doesn't start. Not sure if it's true, says Liam. Tag me, Liam, if you can. Lazy FPL. Foden starts, Marmouche bench. Okay, you're right. There you go. We actually got some team news. So it looks like Marmouche is benched. Thank God I didn't make that move. That's interesting. That shakes things up, to be honest. Interesting. Let me spam that in chat. There you go, guys. We got some team news. It's been a hot minute since we had some team news. Omar Marmouche benched. What does that mean? Well, I didn't bring him in, thank God. Foden starts. That kind of... You know what I'd love to do? I can't lie. I would love to bring in Foden for Salah. Like right now. Anyway, I'm not going to do anything too impulsive. I don't think. Yeah, so that's a good point, says Jose. He says Marmouche a good option for next week then. You'd assume so. Really depends on what happens in the break though. Let's see if we get anything else before the deadline, just to be sure. Thank you, Liam. Appreciate you, my boy. Do a Captain Foden. Don't tempt me, FPL Mackham. I would love to. Don't let your intrusive thoughts win. Oh, Lord. Okay. So there's the team for Gameweek 28. I've told you my plan for Gameweek 29 and 30 and 31. I hope you have found this stream useful. Best of luck with your captaincy. That would be make or break this week, I would say. I think it's going to be an interesting week for sure. But yeah, best of luck this game week. As usual, thank you for joining me for another amazing stream. And I do really appreciate you all. Sorry for the messy room, by the way. And the full webcam is back. But do me a favor before you leave. Do hit that like button for me before you go. I will see you for another deadline stream next week. Fairly positive of it. When is next week's deadline? Let me just double check. The 15th of March on Saturday, which is actually not too far away. This time next week. 12 o'clock though instead, so not this time this week. But yeah, thank you for joining me for another amazing stream. Do hit that like button, and as usual, I will see you in the next.